Gambar kau dulu, saya tahu dong.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good Monday morning to everybody. Welcome to Together Transforming Education, Tte 2.0 for the year 2020, International Colloquium on Education and Social Sciences.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam penuh barakah. Saya Latin bin Missun bersama rakan pengacara saya, Puan Debbie Aliuddin, akan bersama anda semua pada hari yang penuh bersejarah ini. Syukur kehadrat ilahi, kita semua dapat bersama secara live menyaksikan Colloquium ini. Untuk itu, marilah sama-sama kita mengikuti Colloquium 2 hari ini dengan mendengar perkongsian yang inovatif dan penuh bermakna buat kita semua di abad ini.
Hello, I'm Debbie Aliuddin and my partner Mr. Latin Missil are your MCs for today. We are truly blessed to be with all of you, and do join us in this 2 days colloquium to listen to the latest issues of education with all vast changes surrounding us nowadays. Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly our honor and privilege to have this colloquium today, jointly organized by Tuaran and Kota Kinabalu District Education Officers. Once again, we would like to welcome all participants, near and far, to this International Colloquium on Education and Social Sciences, Together Transforming Education, Tte 2.0 for the year 2020. Bringing you live from PPD Tuaran and PPD Kota Kinabalu Facebook pages and YouTube. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us until the last day of this colloquium.
Teruskan bersama kami secara langsung di Facebook page PPD Tuaran dan PPD Kota Kinabalu dan juga YouTube. Jangan lupa untuk like, share, dan subscribe dan sertai kami sehingga akhir colloquium ini. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sidang Colloquium yang dihormati sekalian, izinkan kami untuk berkongsi perjalanan program kita untuk 2 hari ini.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are duly honored to share the uplifting details of this colloquium. This event is aired live on both Facebook and YouTube with viewers from around the world. And please don't forget, there will be something special for all of you.
Dan semua warga Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia yang menyertai Colloquium boleh membuat pengisian penyertaan di SPLKPM masing-masing melalui pautan yang disediakan. Manakala para peserta yang ingin mendapatkan sijil penyertaan Tte 2.0 ini pula boleh membuat demikian dengan pembayaran sebanyak RM10 sahaja.
To all Ministry of Education officers who are eligible to fill in the SPLKPM link for this event, and to others who are interested to get e-certificates who might do so with a payment of only 10 ringgit Malaysia, our committee would be more than happy to lend you a hand So please do not hesitate to send your inquiries if any. Now, let's go back to today's highlights on this first day itself. At 10:30 a.m., we had our first forum, which will discuss on the hottest topic nowadays, which is new normal in education. This forum will be hosted by our one and only Mr. Stanley Missun, Assistant Officer for the District Education Office of Tuaran. The panelists are Professor Dr. Ganakumaran Subramaniam, Head of School, UNM Education, University of Nottingham, Malaysia Campus. Dr. Rosalina O, Fuentes, President, Loyola Institute of Pod, former President, and Jean Saidi, Missun Philippines. And Dr. Vo T. Kim An, Vice Dean, Faculty of English, University of Foreign Language Studies, Ganakumaran. Then, followed by the second forum at 12 p.m., touching on challenges in the implementation of assessment in the new normal. This forum consists of respected panelists, Dato Dr. Mahendra Singh Nahar Singh, City Harbour International School, Perak, Malaysia. Professor Dr. Vincent A. Pham, Faculty of Education and Social Development, University Malaysia Sabah, UMS. Associate Professor Dr. Kamuran Interakan, Director of CCDKM Sukhothai Thammathirat Open University, Thailand. Gia Kurniati, Teacher Training and Education Faculty, University of Muria Kudus, Central Java, Indonesia. And the forum will be repeated by our lovely Madam Millicent, School Improvement Specialist Coach, SISC Plus, the District Education Office of Kota, Kinabalu. Our session will be continued with parallel sharing session 1 in room 1 and room 2 respectively at 2 to 5 p.m.
Itulah tadi perkongsian tentatif hari pertama oleh rakan saya, Abby. Perkongsian pertama hari ini adalah forum 1 yang akan diacarakan oleh moderator kita yang tidak asing lagi, Encik Stanley Missun, penolong pegawai pendidikan daerah Tuaran. Sektor pengurusan murid di bintang topik yang hangat diperkatakan sekarang, iaitu New Normal in Education. Barisan panel yang akan menyertai kita merupakan pakar dalam bidang masing-masing dari Malaysia sendiri, negara Vietnam dan Filipina. Sudah tentu forum ini akan hangat membincangkan isu yang tuan-tuan dan puan-puan kerap dengar pada tahun ini.
Thank you, Mr. Latin. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the highlights on day 1 of our colloquium. However, it doesn't stop there, as we still have more to share with all of you on day 2. Do share with us, Mr. Latin.
Sidang hadirin sekalian, pada hari kedua kolloquium pula, kita akan bersama tepat jam 8.45 pagi dengan taklimat program selama 15 minit. Selepas itu, kita akan saksikan bicara profesional oleh Puan Tahniah Haji Zaman, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu, dan Puan Haja Wanihim bin Osman, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran. Bicara profesional ini akan dikendalikan oleh Puan Oblin Mazikul, Pegawai SIC Plus, Unit Sains dan Matematik, Sektor Pembelajaran, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran. Manakala pada pukul 11 pagi, sesi perkongsian sidang selari di bilik 1 dan 2 akan bermula. Kita akan berehat sekitar sejam sebelum menyaksikan sesi perkongsian para jemputan kolloquium.
Respected viewers, our event will not be complete without the closing and prize giving ceremony. I am sure all of us are crossing our fingers now and contemplating of who are the winners for this year's Together Transforming Education 2.0 for the year 2020 International Colloquium Education and Social Sciences, Transforming Education in the New Normal. So please stay put and join us till the end. Thank you.
Kami pasti semua berdebar-debar menantikan saat pengumuman para pemenang. Oleh itu, teruskan bersama kami selama 2 hari ini. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, selamat pagi, salam PPD Tuaran, sederap menarajui perubahan, dan salam PPD Kota Kinabalu, Dare to Change. Salam Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sabah, katakan tidak kepada nombor 16. Yang berbahagia, Dato Haji Adzman bin Talib, Timbalan Ketua Pengarah Pendidikan Malaysia, Sektor Operasi Sekolah. Yang berbahagia, Dato Dr. Missun bin Radin, Pengarah Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sabah. Yang berusaha, Tuan Haja Wanihim binti Osman, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran. Yang berbahagia, yang berusaha, Tuan Haja Haji Zaman, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu. Yang dihormati barisan panel forum, barisan para pembentang, semua timbalan sektor, pegawai SIP dan SIC, barisan penolong pegawai pendidikan bagi kedua-dua pejabat pendidikan daerah Tuaran dan Kota Kinabalu. Seterusnya, sidang media serta semua ahli jawatan kuasa kerja yang menganjurkan kolloquium ini.
Welcome to Together Transforming Education Tte 2.0 for the year 2020 International Colloquium Education and Social Sciences, Transforming Education in the New Normal.
Bersyukur kita kepada Ilahi kerana atas limpah kurnianya serta izinnya, maka pada pagi yang penuh bersejarah ini, biarpun dalam suasana pandemik COVID, kita berjaya melaksanakan satu program perkembangan komuniti profesionalisme di kalangan warga pendidik di peringkat antarabangsa. Untuk makluman sidang hadirin, program ini adalah anjuran bersama Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran dan Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, bagi memulakan majlis kita pada pagi ini, marilah sama-sama kita menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan kita, iaitu lagu Negaraku, dan diikuti dengan lagu Sabah Tanah Airku.
Respected viewers, let us all now give way to our national anthem, Negaraku, and Sabah State Anthem, Sabah Tanah Airku. Thank you.
Bagi memberkati perjalanan program kita pada pagi ini, majlis menjemput dan mempersilakan Al-Fadil Ustaz alias Idris, penolong pegawai pendidikan Unit Pendidikan Islam, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran untuk memimpin bacaan doa. Majlis sukacitanya mempersilakan.
An event will not be complete without a prayer of blessing. Hence, let's welcome our Father Ustaz alias Idris to recite a prayer.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Segala puji bagi Allah SWT, Tuhan sekalian alam. Salawat dan salam ke atas junjungan besar Nabi Muhammad SAW dan ke atas keluarga serta para sahabat baginda sekalian. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Sesungguhnya kami mendadah tangan pada hari ini dalam program Together Transforming Education Tte 2.0 ingin merapatkan kesyukuran dan penghargaan terhadap-Mu di atas kurniaan-Mu yang tidak terhingga, dan dengan izin-Mu jua kami dapat melaksanakan tugas kami, bermuhasabah dan menilai hasilnya. Allahumma ya Karim ya Aziz, ilhamkanlah dalam fikiran kami Allah idea-idea yang kreatif, positif, proaktif dan inovatif. Semarakanlah dalam jiwa dan minda kami keazaman dan komitmen yang tinggi. Kurniakanlah kepada kami kesihatan serta kekuatan fizikal dan minda, semangat dan daya juang. Padukanlah tenaga dan pemikiran kami, eratkanlah silaturahim dalam kalangan kami. Semoga dengannya kami dapat menyempurnakan tugas-tugas kami bagi yang menghasilkan pendidikan yang cemerlang, yang diteladani serta mampu menuju ke mercu gemilang. Ya Allah, Ya Ghani, Ya Hamid, berkatilah program kami pada hari ini dan usaha kami pada hari ini dan hari-hari yang bakal kami lalui. Rahmatilah jua perpisahan kami selepas ini. Kurniakanlah kepada kami, Ya Allah, rezeki yang halal dan perpanjangan, zuriat dan generasi yang beriman serta segala kebaikan di dunia maupun di akhirat sana. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqna min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'alillahumma fina wa la ma'ana wa lam yatba'una saqiyan mahruman. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Thank you, our Father Ustaz, for the beautiful prayer. Truly a blessing for our wonderful event today.
Thank you, Madam Debbie. Terima kasih Encik Latin.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sidang Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sidang Colloquium yang dihormati, majlis kita teruskan dengan mendengar ucapan alu-aluan yang akan disampaikan oleh Puan Haja Wanihim binti Osman, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran.
Please welcome Puan Haja Wanihim binti Osman, the District Education Officer of Tuaran, Tuaran Education Office.
Thank you, Madam Debbie. Terima kasih, Encik Latin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya wal mursalin. Saidina Muhammad, Malaysia prihatin. Salam PPD Tuaran sederap menerajui perubahan. Berguru demi ilmu, bina generasi baharu. Yang berbahagia, Dato Haji Adzman bin Talib, Timbalan Ketua Pengarah Pendidikan Malaysia, Operasi Sekolah. Yang berbahagia, Dato Dr. Misrin binti Radin, Pengarah Pendidikan Negeri Sabah. Yang berusaha, Puan Tahniah Haji Jeman, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu, yang juga merupakan pengerusi bersama Tte 2.0 2020, semua ahli panel forum, semua pembentang, jawatan kuasa. Alhamdulillah, sama-sama kita panjatkan setinggi-tinggi kesyukuran kehadrat Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala kerana dengan izin dan kurnia-Nya perancangan menganjurkan Colloquium Together Transforming Education kali kedua atau singkatnya Tte 2.0 tahun 2020 dapat direalisasikan. Saya bagi pihak semua jawatan kuasa daripada Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran dan juga Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu mengalu-alukan kebersamaan yang berbahagia Dato Haji Adzman bin Talib, Timbalan Ketua undangan kami. Yang berbahagia Datuk, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Setiap yang bermula pasti ada sejarahnya. Pada kesempatan ini, suka saya berkongsi sedikit sejarah berkaitan Together Transforming Education kali yang kedua ini. TTA diinspirasikan daripada aktiviti amalan-amalan terbaik pembelajaran abad ke-21. Justru, platform perkongsian ini dinamakan Together Transforming Education sejajar dengan objektif utama bahawa perubahan pendidikan boleh berlaku melalui pembudayaan PA yang pertama pada tahun 2018, PLC turut dimasukkan untuk menaikkan taraf TTA daripada peringkat negeri ke peringkat antarabangsa, di mana sesi perkongsian tersebut dijadikan sebagai aktiviti konferens dan pameran yang melibatkan penceramah dan juga pempamer daripada dalam dan luar negara seperti Singapura, Indonesia dan negara Brunei Darussalam. TTA telah diadakan pada 2018 selama 3 hari di Auditorium Kompleks Pusat Pentadbiran Kerajaan Kota Kinabalu. Untuk makluman yang berbahagia Datuk dan sidang hadirin, program TTA ini merupakan aktiviti 2 tahunan. PPD Kota Kinabalu, yang mana mereka semua sangat cekap pantas dan komited dalam menjayakan Colloquium yang dianjurkan buat kali kedua pada tahun ini. Dan kita semua sedia maklum, atas sumbangan mereka dalam menjadikan Colloquium ini sebagai medan perkongsian pengalaman dan cetusan idea ke arah menempa
Majlis ucapkan ribuan terima kasih atas ucapan Puan Haji Adzman, Pegawai Pendidikan dan Tuaran Pejabat Pendidikan dan Tuaran tadi. It is our utmost pleasure to thank Puan Haji Adzman for the wonderful speech. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, respected audiences, we would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Dr. Haji Adzman bin Talib, Deputy Director General of Education Malaysia, School Operations, to deliver a speech and kindly officiate our event today. Please welcome Yang Berbahagia Dato.
Terima kasih saudara dan saudari pengacara majlis, Cikgu Latin, Cikgu Debbie dan Ustaz Alin alias yang telah membacakan doa sebentar tadi. Terima kasih atas undangan ini. Yang berbahagia Dato' Dr. Missun binti Radin, Pengarah JPN Sabah, Yang Berusaha Puan Haji Wanihim binti Osman, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran, Yang Berusaha Puan Haji Tania binti Jaman, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu, ahli jawatan kuasa pelaksana dan para hadirin yang dikasihi sekalian. Mungkin inilah teknologi yang kadang-kadang boleh mengganggu kelancaran program kita, tetapi saya pasti ucapan Puan Haji Wanihim tadi banyak menyentuh tentang latar belakang bagaimana program Tte 2.0 ini bermula sejak beberapa tahun yang lampau dan perkembangan yang berlaku sehinggalah sekarang. Jadi tak apa, mungkin teks ucapan itu boleh dikongsikan kepada para hadirin melalui pelbagai kaedah yang lain. Terlebih dahulu saya ingin memanjatkan setinggi-tinggi kesyukuran kehadrat Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala kerana dengan limpah kurnia dan izinnya juga saya dapat bersua secara maya dengan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan dalam Colloquium Together Transforming Education 2.0 anjuran Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran dan Kota Kinabalu. Saya juga ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada para penganjur kerana sudi menjemput saya dalam majlis ilmu secara maya ini. Saya sangat menghargai usaha kedua-dua PPD ini walaupun dalam keadaan negara masih berperang dengan COVID-19, tetapi itu bukan menjadi alasan untuk tidak melaksanakan program yang dapat membantu meningkatkan kecemerlangan pendidikan di negara ini. Usaha seperti ini harus diberikan pujian dan dihargai. Tahniah atas usaha itu. Alhamdulillah, thanks to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala for giving us this opportunity to be here today for the Tte 2.0 International Colloquium on Education and Social Sciences 2020. I would like to greet all of you and especially the overseas speakers and participants. Selamat datang to this colloquium. And it is my great pleasure to welcome all participants today for the 2 days online colloquium. I welcome all the speakers and guests from all over the country as well as the Asian region to share their knowledge and experience with us in this education community. InsyaAllah, I will deliver my speech in bahasa Melayu. Sebelum saya menyentuh tentang ucapan ini, izinkan saya berkongsi dan merakamkan penghargaan yang tinggi terhadap pelbagai usaha yang dilakukan oleh guru-guru kita di seluruh negara, khususnya di Sabah, Sarawak dan juga di PPD Tuaran serta Kota Kinabalu kerana telah melaksanakan pelbagai program dan menyantuni pelajar-pelajar kita semasa tempoh PKPB dilaksanakan begitu lama di Sabah. Usaha yang dilakukan ini baik secara online ataupun secara offline ataupun secara offsite, pelbagai usaha dilakukan untuk memastikan bahawa anak-anak didik kita di sekolah mendapatkan pendidikan yang sebaik-baiknya. PDPR yang PDP ataupun pengajaran dan pembelajaran yang dilaksanakan di rumah itu sangat memberi kesan kepada semua murid dan pelajar kita yang berada di rumah. Dalam keadaan ini, kita menghargai apa saja usaha yang dilakukan walaupun kesukaran yang begitu besar dihadapi. Sekarang ini, musim cuti sekolah, saya ucapkan selamat bercuti dan kita doakan semoga 20 hari bulan Januari 2021 nanti kita akan dapat kembali ke sekolah bersama-sama dalam keadaan yang lebih baik dan lebih selesa untuk semua murid kita. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan warga maya sekalian, bersempena dengan Colloquium ini, saya ingin menyentuh tentang tema Colloquium ini iaitu Transforming Education in New Norms. Saya yakin rasional pemilihan tema ini adalah berlandaskan kepada perkembangan pendidikan dalam keadaan pandemik yang berlaku pada ketika ini. Pandemik COVID-19 tidak menghalang warga, pegawai dan khususnya guru-guru untuk berkongsi penyelidikan mereka di ruang maya ini. Jadi pada saya, Colloquium yang diadakan ini menepati hasrat dan kehendak itu agar pihak guru di negara-negara di Malaysia khususnya, di Asia Tenggara amnya dapat berkongsi penyelidikan yang mereka lakukan dalam Colloquium ini. Dalam bidang akademik, penyelidikan dibuat untuk menyelesaikan sesuatu masalah. Pada akhir penyelidikan, diharapkan keputusan yang ditemui hasil daripada penyelidikan itu dapat menyelesaikan masalah tersebut walaupun sekurang-kurangnya mengarah kepada penyelesaian. InsyaAllah penyelesaian yang terbaik yang kita harapkan. Sementara itu, inovasi pula secara langsung dikaitkan dengan kreativiti seseorang. Seseorang yang kreatif dan inovatif akan menjadi seorang yang sentiasa berfikir, ingin mencipta cita-cita besar, berani dan yakin kepada diri sendiri. Sesungguhnya benar apa yang dikatakan bahawa orang yang hebat itu sentiasa memikirkan tentang idea baru dalam kehidupan berbanding memikirkan tentang dirinya sendiri. Great people always thinking about new ideas. Penyelidikan dan inovasi ini perlu dijadikan amalan dalam kalangan warga pendidik di negara ini. Kerana konsep pengajaran dan pembelajaran pada masa ini tidak hanya terarah melalui pemberian maklumat daripada guru semata-mata, sebaliknya, pelajar-pelajar sendiri perlu mendapatkan maklumat-maklumat yang relevan tentang apa-apa yang dipelajari melalui pelbagai sumber, khasnya secara maya. Dengan kata lain, konsep pengajaran dan pembelajaran memerlukan pelajar-pelajar belajar secara kendiri dan tidak hanya menjadi penerima ilmu semata-mata. Sesuai dengan situasi sekarang ini, guru tidak dapat mengajar murid secara bersemuka. Guru dan murid terpaksa melalui pelbagai kaedah untuk menyampaikan dan menerima ilmu. Oleh hal yang demikian, perubahan minda dalam kalangan warga pendidik amat dituntut agar mereka dapat menyampaikan ilmu dan membimbing murid dengan apa cara sekalipun. Teknologi yang ada pada masa sekarang memungkinkan semua perkara itu dapat dilakukan dan saya mengharapkan usaha-usaha yang dilakukan ini akan berterusan pada hari ini, hari esok dan hari-hari yang mendatang seterusnya. Pandemik COVID-19 memaksa kita melakukan penjarakan fizikal. Jelas, paradigma pendidikan formal secara konvensional selama ini menjadi amalan turun-temurun perlu diubah. Cabaran ini cukup besar kerana tidak pernah dalam sejarah peradaban manusia guru tidak berada secara bersemuka dengan muridnya. Sesuatu yang luar biasa dan sesungguhnya Allah datang menguji kita pada tahap ini dan insya-Allah kita mampu menghadapinya. Pendidikan formal secara tradisional meletakkan konteks pembelajaran dalam keadaan guru dan murid perlu berinteraksi secara bersemuka supaya penerapan ilmu, nilai dan kemahiran dapat dipupuk secara berterusan. Melalui pembacaan dan kajian secara kendiri dalam tempoh Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan ataupun PKP, guru mula mengubah persepsi terhadap pengajaran dan pembelajaran secara dalam talian. Pembelajaran maya perlu diteruskan menggunakan pelbagai pendekatan, sama ada secara pembelajaran secara dalam talian atau secara bersemuka ataupun secara tidak bersemuka. Mahu atau tidak, guru mula mengenali dan berusaha memikirkan tentang learning tools yang digunakan boleh disesuaikan mengikut keperluan pembelajaran dan kesediaan murid untuk menerima pembelajaran itu. Guru kita mula mengajar secara dalam talian yang dahulunya merupakan sesuatu yang sangat luar biasa kepada mereka. Dan kita menggunakan pelbagai pelantar Microsoft Teams, Facebook Live, Google Classroom dan pelantar-pelantar lain. Walaupun tidak secara bersemuka secara fizikal, interaksi berlaku melalui pelbagai aplikasi chat yang memang telah biasa digunakan dalam masyarakat kita pada hari ini, yang membolehkan murid dan guru berbincang mengenai pembelajaran pada bila-bila masa. Dan mungkin pada masa ini, guru dalam keadaan yang lebih dicabar kerana murid akan menghubunginya pada bila-bila masa. Pagi, siang, tengah hari, petang dan mungkin juga malam. Dengan kata lain, guru belajar dan membuat eksperimen secara kendiri dan mencari ilmu bagi memenuhi keperluan pendidikan yang kian mencabar. Melalui pembelajaran secara kendiri ini, kita dapat lihat ramai guru yang semakin kreatif dan mula menghasilkan pelbagai inovasi, kaedah pengajaran dan pembelajaran demi memastikan kelangsungan pendidikan dalam kalangan murid yang mereka ajar. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian, penghasilan sesuatu inovasi memerlukan sinergi yang kuat antara kecerdasan akal fikiran, kreativiti dan keunikan. Dalam hal ini, inovasi dapat memupuk pemikiran yang kreatif dan meningkatkan produktiviti kerja. Selain itu, inovasi sinonim sangat dengan konsep modernisasi. Dua konsep ini mempunyai hala tuju yang hampir sama, yakni melaksanakan pembaharuan yang memberi manfaat dan kebaikan kepada masyarakat. Bagaimanapun, wujud tanggapan bahawa dalam kegairahan mencipta inovasi maupun mengejar modernisasi, nilai-nilai tradisi semakin luntur. Mungkin tanggapan ini benar dan mungkin juga tidak, bergantung kepada sudut pandangan sisi orang yang menilainya. Tidak mustahil jika tanggapan ini akan menjadi suatu realiti. Oleh itu, warga pendidik perlu memastikan dalam usaha mencipta inovasi dan mengejar modernisasi, nilai-nilai tradisi akan terus terpelihara. Jadi perkara inilah yang perlu diberikan perhatian dan penekanan oleh para guru dalam apa sahaja usaha yang dilakukan untuk menyantuni murid-murid mereka melalui pelbagai pendekatan yang saya sebutkan tadi. Kita tidak boleh mengenepikan atau kesampingkan nilai-nilai yang baik, nilai-nilai murni yang nilai-nilai tradisi yang memang telah dimiliki oleh orang-orang di Malaysia ataupun orang-orang Melayu dan Bumiputera yang ada di Sabah, Sarawak dan seluruh negara ini, dan perlu dikekalkan keadaan itu agar pengajaran dan pembelajaran dapat diteruskan dalam konteks yang lebih sesuai dengan kehendak dan keperluan semasa murid dan juga guru. Penyelidikan dan inovasi ini perlu dijadikan budaya demi memartabatkan lagi sistem pendidikan di negara ini. Sebagai warga pendidik, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan perlu berani menyelidik dan menghasilkan sesuatu yang baru dan bermanfaat untuk mengatasi sebarang isu atau masalah. Jangan takut untuk berubah. Kita mungkin kehilangan sesuatu yang baik, akan tetapi pastinya akan memperoleh sesuatu yang lebih baik jika kita berani untuk melakukan perubahan. Apabila anda mempunyai keinginan untuk memulakan sesuatu, anda harus memiliki keberanian dan kemampuan untuk menyelesaikannya, bukan sahaja memikirkan pengakhirannya. Sebab apabila kita memikirkan akhirnya, kita tidak akan dapat melihat proses itu berlangsung dengan sepenuhnya. Dan pada masa itu, kita akan dikekangi dengan pelbagai keadaan dan kesukaran yang mungkin menyebabkan kita akan terus rasa kecewa dan tidak mahu meneruskannya lagi. Jadi dalam hal yang sebegini rupa, saya mengharapkan semua peserta, semua pembentang khususnya pembentang dapat berkongsi pelbagai pengalaman dan pengetahuan yang mereka telah miliki hasil daripada dapatan, mungkin dapatan secara langsung ataupun dapatan melalui kajian dalam Colloquium ini dikongsikan bersama-sama dengan guru-guru di Malaysia yang mengikuti program ini agar mereka betul-betul memahami dan menghayati bagaimana untuk menantuni dan mendekati murid dalam norma yang baru ini. Saya mengharapkan juga dalam situasi yang sebegini rupa kita akan terus berada dalam keadaan yang bersedia untuk memikirkan pelbagai kemungkinan pada masa akan datang. Memang dalam keadaan yang ada sekarang ini, pada masa akan datang itu sesuatu yang sukar untuk kita ramalkan. Before I conclude, once again I would like to congratulate all the Tuaran and Kota Kinabalu District Education Office for organizing this colloquium. This collaborative effort, I must say, it is very commendable and should be continued future. Shabash to all participants. Thank you for committing your time and energy toward this colloquium. I wish all of you the best and fruitful discussion. I'm looking forward to hear the results and the resolutions of this session. Sebelum saya mengakhiri ucapan ini, saya mengharapkan agar program ini berjalan lancar dan mencapai objektifnya serta memberi impak positif kepada semua warga pendidik. Sehubungan dengan itu, tuan-tuan dan puan sekalian, apa yang menjadi tulang belakang kepada kejayaan sesuatu usaha dan pendidikan yang kita lakukan ialah kesungguhan kita. Oleh yang demikian, saya menjeru kepada semua warga pendidik agar berani meyakinkan diri dan membuat penyelidikan dan inovasi ke arah yang membantu dalam peningkatan dan memartabatkan sistem pendidikan Malaysia. I believe this conference, seminars, intellectual discussion such as this Tte 2.0 are important and are able to assist the Ministry of Education Malaysia in planning effective future programs. I hope the outputs obtained through various studies and presented during this 2 days conference will give some light on the issues and challenges that as well as opportunities related to education, information, sustainability. Indeed, the ministry is looking forward to hearing new ideas and suggestions from everyone attending this conference. Tuan-tuan dan puan, secara peribadi, dengan hati yang tulus ikhlas, saya menghargai segala usaha yang dilakukan oleh PPD Tuaran dan PPD Kota Kinabalu yang menganjurkan Tte 2.0 ini. Usaha ini sangat menyentuh hati saya, sebab itulah saya memberikan komitmen untuk hadir bersama-sama dalam program yang cukup bermakna ini. Dan saya mengharapkan semua peserta, semua pembentang, semua ahli panel yang terlibat dalam sesi forum akan memberikan usaha ataupun menyumbangkan usaha serta memberikan komitmen yang tinggi dalam melaksanakan dan menjayakan Tte 2.0 ini. Jadi sampai ke penghujung ucapan saya dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya dengan sukacitanya merasmikan Colloquium Together Transforming Education 2.0 secara maya ini. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much Yang Berbahagia Dato for the inspiring speech. Our deepest gratitude once more.
Menyempurnakan acara peresmian Colloquium, kita akan saksikan pelancaran montaj peresmian. Untuk makluman sidang Colloquium, montaj yang akan kita saksikan itu tadi hasil reka cipta Puan Ramlah Abdul Rahim, penolong pegawai pendidikan daerah Tuaran, Unit Sumber Teknologi dan Pendidikan, Sektor Pembelajaran, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Tuaran.
Heartiest thank you to Madam Ramla Abdurrahim, Assistant Education Officer of BPD Tuaran, for the amazing montage. Ladies and gentlemen, as to commemorate our great event today, we would like to require everybody to switch on your cameras for a photo session. Please give our best smiles, everybody. Let us all shout TTE.
Pastikan semua membuka kamera masing-masing dan bersedia dengan senyuman yang terbaik. Mari kita semua sebut TTE. Ini akan memberikan satu kenangan yang indah buat kita semua di suasana penyambut ini. Walau bagaimanapun, kita tetap jaga melangkah bersama dengan TTE 2.0 tahun 2020.
Thank you very much to everybody. I'm sure all the beautiful memories will be kept by us fondly in our hearts in this unique ceremony. To all respected viewers, let us have a 15 minutes rest, and our event will be continued with the Forum 1 at 10:30 a.m. We would like to note again to all of Ministry of Education officers, you are eligible to fill in your SPL KPM link for this event. And to others who are interested to get e-certificates, you might do so with a payment of only 10 ringgit Malaysia, as can be seen on the screen. Our committee would be more than happy to lend you a hand, so please do not hesitate to send your inquiries if any. Thank you. Okay, Alhamdulillah.
Selamat kembali. Welcome back, respected viewers, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Tte 2.0 Together Transforming Education for the year 2020, International Colloquium on Education and Social Sciences. Live with us on both Facebook and YouTube. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe our pages. And also, don't forget the e-certificates for this colloquium. As for the first forum today, we would like to invite our distinguished and talented colleague, Mr. Stanley Missun, Assistant Officer for the District Education Office of Tuaran, as a moderator for today's Forum 1, which will touch on new normal in education. Please welcome Stanley. The respected panelists are Professor Dr. Ganakumaran Subramaniam, Head of School, UNM Education, University of Nottingham, Malaysia Campus. Dr. Rosalina O, Fuentes, Founding President, Loyola Institute of Pod, former President and Dean, Saidi in Quezon City, Philippines. And Dr. Vo Thi Kim An, Vice Dean, Faculty of English, University of Foreign Language Studies, Da Nang, Vietnam. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Debbie, for the lovely introductions. Again, welcome to Together Transforming Education TTE 2.0 2020. And today, we are going to discuss the new normal and education. And our event today basically is an international colloquium on education and social sciences. And this event basically jointly organized by the District Education Office of Kuala and the District Education Office of Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, Malaysia. Today, as mentioned by Madam Debbie, we have three panelists. The first panelist is Prof. Dr. Ganakumaran Subramaniam, Head of School, UNM Education, Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Nottingham, Malaysia Campus. How are you today, Prof?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. And our second panelist is Dr. Rosalina O, Fuentes, the founding president of Loyola Institute of Pod. And she's also former president and Dean Saidi in Corporations, Quezon City, Philippines. How are you, Dr. Ros?
I'm good today, Stanley. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. And our third panelist will be Dr. Vo Thi Kim An, the Vice President, Faculty of English, University of Foreign Language Studies, Da Nang, Vietnam. How are you, Dr. Vo?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes. Okay, so today I'll be going to address Prof. Guna, Dr. Rose, and also Dr. Kim. And today, for the first round, I'm going to give this opportunity and platform because I believe most of us out there would like to know who is basically our panelist for today. And without further ado, I would like to call upon the first panelist, Prof. Guna. Prof. Gana, maybe you can share with us your credentials, your experiences, or maybe your awards to the viewers. Please, Dr. Gana.
Right, thank you, Stanley. And also and good morning to all my fellow panelists from around Asia. I'm delighted to be here. So essentially, I've been involved in education in Malaysia for now more than 30 years. And I started my adventure in education. I like to call it an adventure in education from school. I taught in schools before graduating in a way to work in the universities. I spent quite some time working in the National University of Malaysia before joining the University of Nottingham in Malaysia and helping the university establish their school of education. Yeah.
That's good.
So other than that, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Gana, for the brief introduction about you. I believe most of us out there, the viewers especially, can engage with your achievement. Our second panelist, Dr. Ross. Maybe, Dr. Ross, you can share with us your credentials, maybe your hobby or your awards. Maybe you can share with us here in Malaysia.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, co-panelists. I'm Rose Fuentes, Dr. Rose, they call me. I have been in education as a professional, not as a student, for 52 years and still counting. But I'm out of formal structure. I am a freelance consultant. I am a combined OD practitioner and educator. OD is into change management. I must say that I am a product of private education. And so
Okay.
my specific interest is really this time more on public education because I have seen the
Mm,
stark difference between public and private education. So my
mm,
continuing advocacy in my retirement years is to
okay.
continue pushing for education. Thank you.
Yeah, there you are, Dr. Ross. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction. And our third panelist will be Dr. Kim. Again, I would like to call Dr. Kim. Maybe you can share with us your experiences, your patience, to all of us here. Dr.
Okay.
Kim?
Good morning from Vietnam. Okay. Thank you for giving me the chance to participate in the forum today. I'm very happy today. I have been working as a lecturer of English for over 20 years. In
Wow,
Yes, over
that's
20
good.
years. Um, and my interest is doing the research in the field of TESOLs and also
Mhm.
evaluation. Um, I have a several publication in the field
Mhm.
of English teaching and also in the field of evaluation. And just tell you one secret that I took my PhD in Malaysia, and
Wow.
and the university is UMS. It means that
Mhm.
I have been to Sabah several times and spent a lot of time in Sabah.
That's very good, doctor. Basically, I'm also taking my PhD in the same university with you. Currently, I'm taking
The the
PhD. Thank you
the
very
same
much. Mhm.
university with BT, Dr. BT.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So there you are, a very wonderful and impactful panelist we have today. We have Prof. Gana all the way from Malaysia. We also have Dr. Ross all the way from Philippines, and of course our one and only Dr. Kim all the way from Vietnam. So before we proceed to the next blocks, I would like to say thank you very much. Thank you very much to Madam Debbie for being our MC for today. And now we would like to zoom in and focus to our three panelists. Okay, as I told the viewer earlier, today we are going to discuss one impactful topic, which is the new normal in education. So the first round, I'm going to ask the three panelists to share your professional views pertaining these matters, because when we talk about new normal in education, basically this is what is happening throughout the world. Yeah, and Malaysia, Philippines, and also Vietnam. Basically, we are facing the new normal in education. And the first perspective I would like to call upon is Prof. Gana. Maybe you can share with us, Prof. Gana, pertaining your professional view with these matters.
Right. Thank you very much, Stanley, again. First of all, I'd like to state that, the position I'm going to take on this area of new normal may not be conventional in any way. We have just completed a research actually to understand the kind of issues that, teachers particularly, encounter in the context of COVID-19 and the resulting consequences of the pandemic, particularly, and how that has affected education. So, could I ask that my slides be shared, please? Yeah. Right. So, as you can see in my slide, I have put new normal in inverted commas, and I'll explain why I've put it in inverted commas in that sense. And I will talk about, why are the issues, as we call new normal, have arisen? What kind of crisis situations have been encountered in the context of education? What are these crises? As well as, how going forward, what can we do about them? And these are the three areas that I want to look at very quickly. Next slide, please. Change slides, please. Yeah, right. So essentially, when we talk about COVID-19 and the educational crisis, right, we have encountered, research has shown globally, I mean, I'm not just talking about Malaysia, I'm talking about globally, we have encountered, crisis in several areas. And fundamentally, because we have shifted overnight into online teaching, into teaching that's supported with technology, what we found, one of the critical crisis points is technical know-how. How do we use technology for educational purposes? Though, since the turn of the century, we were talking about 21st century learning, and in the context of 21st century learning, technology was supposed to have played an important part, or supposed to have an important role. Our engagement with technology has been slow. Our uptake with technology has been slow. And suddenly we found ourselves at a point where we needed now to be competent and proficient with technology as a tool. And we found ourselves lacking quite significantly in that area. We also, encountered issues related to, not only how to use technology, but how to use technology for education, the kind of teaching and learning methodologies that we can use via technology. That it's a completely different, understanding of teaching and learning through technology, unlike what we used to do or what we are familiar with in terms of face-to-face issues. So these issues, the first two issues are related to the teacher and the teacher's readiness. People in the education stakeholder, or as education stakeholders, and how they were ready for it. And then, of course, we then had to think about students and say, are students ready? Is it easy for students to sort of just shift from the standard classroom to an online mode of learning? Did they have the skills? Did they have the know-how? And so on. And because of these challenges, these crisis points, many students didn't have that know-how. There were issues around motivation and student engagement. So even as we shifted to online teaching, right, we find that students are not engaged. They are not able to sustain attention. And we are not able to monitor whether they are there or not there, whether they are, following our classes or not following our classes. And because of all of this, we had a crisis point of, finding out, okay, so are the students learning? Are they achieving the outcomes of what the teachers are trying to do through the online media, right? We had to think about new ways of assessing our students, because we couldn't do the standard classroom assessment or the standard exams. We had to look at new ways of assessing our students and knowing whether they learn or not learn. And even up to this point, I don't believe that any country in the world has a clear idea of what the students have learned in 2020, right? No one has a clear idea of whether they have learned and what they have learned. And the other aspect of crisis points is the issue of resources and connectivity. And I think the iconic image which comes to mind when we talk about connectivity is the girl on top of the tree. right? And I think, you know, many Malaysian teachers, many Malaysians will have this image of this girl, this university student on a tree trying to get connected to her studies. And essentially connectivity is a big issue, right? We also need to have looked at curriculum, our standard curriculum, the curriculum that we used to use, right? The way of teaching, the way of assessing, the way of, you know, the resources and materials had to be modified to suit, you know, the new demands. We had to look at leadership, how we led education, what was the role of principals, what were the roles of senior leadership in schools and institutions, and how did they support, you know, their teachers. For a long period after the pandemic came into the picture, I think that everybody was at a loss. How do we manage this? How do we deal with this, right? And then, of course, there is this point about ethics and surveillance. Now, with online teaching, what happens is that we have now access to every home. You know, we are in their homes of the children, and we are able to see into their homes. And there are ethical issues around this. There are ethical issues around what we have access to in their private lives of students and their families. That is one side. The second part is students have access to the private life and homes of teachers as well. Right? So there is this issue, and sometimes, you know, when teachers are teaching, and the teachers assume that they are teaching students, their own students on the other side, but actually their parents could be listening in, their guardians could be listening in, their siblings could be listening in, everybody could be listening into that conversation, which we thought was a sacred conversation between a teacher and a student. So these are issues that, and are issues that we have to deal with. We have to understand, and we have to prepare, we have to set up the mechanisms to work with these crisis issues. And these are just some of the big issues that we are looking at in the context of what you have termed new normal. Can I have a change of slide, please? Can I change the slide, please? Yeah, okay. So in this context now, what we need to understand is that if we were looking at going forward, right, we need to look at an education that has to, you know, reassess itself and reevaluate how it has, you know, performed before the current context. A lot of times we took a lot of the things that we did within education for granted. So we need to look at issues like compassion and empathy. More importantly, because of the issues of connectivity, of the issues of competence or lack of competence that students are going to be facing with technology. And it's not just for students, it's also for teachers. Teachers are also struggling with adapting to this new normal, as we call it, the requirement for technology, the requirement for methodology, and the different ways in which they need to achieve outcomes. So we need to have a greater sense of compassion and empathy. We need to ensure that we take care of digital literacy and accessibility to new resources of teaching. You know, whether or not our teaching is going to be online or blended, right? We still need to look at the needs, and we need to look at the issues and address these issues. We can't expect, you know, when the Ministry of Education Malaysia announced that on the 21st of January, everybody will go back to school, right? You know, the question is, you know, that doesn't happen. how are we proposing to move forward in 2021? And we need to look at all of those things, and we need to prepare for them. We need to, put in training. We need to put in a lot of effort into ensuring that we do better than how we have done in 2020, right? We need to think about inclusion and differentiated approaches, because learners are coming to us with different abilities, different levels of competences. How do we deal with that in the context of blended or online learning? What are new pedagogies that needs to be considered, for learning? And the issue of efficacy becomes very important, meaning, the sense of being autonomous. Teachers need to develop that sense of autonomy to be able to decide what is the right thing to do and how do I manage situations as they arise, rather than traditionally, in the past, we waited for instructions. We passed it up to our line manager and made our line manager decide. However, now, teachers need to be, able to make those decisions themselves. We need to rethink the way schools and education has been managed and will be managed. We need to look at curriculum innovations in the context of the new normal. So there are lots of things. The bigger picture is that there is no more place, for the traditional bureaucratic structured organization in the context of education. The bureaucracy that, you need to ask permission, you need to, before you make certain decisions. So decisions need to be made locally, based on local needs. We need to look at developing an education community, teachers, leaders who are flexible and agile, right? We need to be people-focused. And we always talk about learner-centeredness, but I think we need to be people-focused. We need to be focused on the teachers, their welfare, their well-being, as much as we need to be focused on the learners and their welfare and their well-being. And all of this can only be achieved if we, have continuous evolution of learning, professional development that takes place very strategically, based on needs rather than based on somebody deciding what you need, right? So ground up professional development rather than top down professional development.
Okay.
So we need to look at that. Can I change my slide, please? Change slide, please. Yeah, okay. So in conclusion, right, I would like to state that, this notion of new normal, sometimes I think we are deluding ourselves by thinking that there is a new normal. The notion of normal means something typical, something expected. But I think going forward, this typicality and this expectedness is no longer going to be the norm. What is going to be the norm is the unexpected. And if we are going to prepare for the future, we need to be ready to meet that unexpectedness. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Gana, for the professional view pertaining our topic today, the new normal in education. Thank you very much, Prof. Gana, for your professional views on this. Yeah. Okay. Next, from Malaysia, we are moving to Philippines. Yeah. We are going to be with Dr. Rose, and then I would like to ask, Dr. Rose, your perceptions. I want to see whether there is any differences or similarities between Philippines and, of course, in Malaysia. Maybe you can share your professional views pertaining this topic, Dr. Rose.
Good morning again. The focus that I will work on in my presentation is on the question, is the new normal in education now in place in the Philippines? Okay, that's the question that I'd like to address. And I have, change slide please. I have three parts to my presentation. First, 2020 puts us into a no option journey to transform education. And then the
Okay.
second part would be the emerging initiatives towards the transformation. And the third is the promise of a new world order. Okay, let me just focus first on the first topic. Mid-month of March 2020, all sectors in the Philippines, I suppose also in Malaysia, were surprised by COVID-19 virus. And no sector was prepared, sadly. The surprise visitor was cloaked in mystery, kind of half known, but to a larger part unknown. The, the surprise visitor was deadly and seemingly still not within the predictability or in its movement, life cycles, and cure. Scientists went abuzz, trying to get to know the visitor better, how to contain it, how to arrest its deadly effects. On this note, Philippines was kind of low here. Now, scientists worked very hard to find out some cure. And after 9 months, we hear of vaccines against it. But the guarantees are also minimal. There could be more surprises, but at least there is the silver lining across medical skies. Individuals and organizations were caught flat-footed. Education was in a state of disarray. That was the situation mid-March and for the next 2-3 months. But as the chaos unfolded itself, this is where the great divide between those who have and those who have not stared educators and educational leaders into their eyes. In the Philippines, up to about October, about 800 plus private schools have closed down. These schools could not move on to the new arrangements demanded by the situation to be in the education business. They don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the funds to expand their infrastructure. Teachers were not ready. School owners did not have other means. The parents were not willing to send their children out of their abode because of fear of exposure in the environment. The students, it was a mix of I would say, reaction. Those in basic education, especially the younger ones, they were very joyful. It was a festive mood. It was a long vacation for them. So they were happy to be not doing schoolwork. But in the college, students started to worry because their dreams to earn a college degree was kind of stalled, on hold. Against many other horror or sub-stories about the situation, by the middle of 2020, many started to embrace that this situation is a no-option state. And this is when things started to move onward. It is a call for a dive into the situation, a dive into the future, or otherwise be fossilized. And if in the business, you die. So now, what are the emerging initiatives? For those who took on the challenge to move forward, they have sprinkled initiatives that are now awakening, inspiring people to coexist with COVID-19. Let me start with three bodies in the Philippines, the regulatory bodies. Let me start with the parent. This much I can say about our regulatory bodies. For basic education, for undergrad, and for the vocational sectors, these bodies continue to try their best to guide schools to migrate delivery of learning to online learning. Easy does it. These bodies issued memoranda on definitions, nature, arrangements, models, etc. on online learning. But they were confronted with practical situations. They had no ready answers. So to date, these bodies have been minimally successful to stabilize education within the COVID-19 environment for the following reasons: leadership, funding, other logistical sources like the infrastructure of technology, the skill sets of teachers, and to an extent, the skill sets of students. Now let me go to another group, which is the public and government schools. Those that are able to move onward are those with strong partnership with the private sectors, the business sectors, who are able to share and contribute to funds needed by such schools. The majority of public schools, sadly, are crawling on their brick and mortar capabilities and resources. So what are the overall initiatives in the public sector? Online, but mostly blended, to adapt to whatever limitations schools continue to confront. In some cities, pilot schools are set up fully online. Support goes to the school in terms of IT infrastructure, laptops for teachers, and laptops also for students or clusters of students who are geographically or physically within easy reach of each other. Here is a happy note. The Vice President of the country, Lenny Robredo, started setting up community learning hubs to support learners and cluster of learners share a common resource, both infra and mentoring as tutors, mentors as tutors. The village units of leadership serve as centers of distribution of learning packages. Let me give you a story here. Many young students are saying they want to go back to the school. And then when you ask them why, because they said, our parents are 10 times stricter than our teachers. I mean, the parents are not ready with the psychological, mentoring, and so on. What they know is do this, do that, do this, do that. Don't fail because that's an expense for the family. And so the children have started becoming stressed, and that has become a major issue for online learning, especially for the children. No, a most horrible story that came uh, between these months or during these months was the story of a 14-year-old kid. I think she's about in grade 6. 14-year-old kid who committed suicide, and we could not understand why. Why did she commit suicide? Because she could not cope with the work that was being given via online learning. See, there's something there which I will pick up later on. Now, how about the private schools? What are the initiatives? In the private schools, here is where you see Darwin's theory, survival of the fittest, which comes aptly to mind. Their initiatives in a matter of 6 months may soon be well placed or stabilized. Here are examples of their initiatives. They set up virtual classroom, okay, complete with the infrastructure. Then they set up professional development training for their teachers regarding online education. There is a mindset reframe, very important, changing the mindset in terms of assessment and evaluation, creative pedagogical practices, reforms in policies and guidelines, non-academic services to students, which is really counseling, and frequent online meetings about faculty to share about their experiences, online classroom observations, these peer online classroom observations, time management between online exposure and self-learning activities, and popular apps that are used in the Philippines are Google Classroom, Zoom platforms, chat box, Mentimeter, breakout sessions. Now here, the time management issue. I have 7 growing schooling grandchildren from basic education to college. And my youngest grandchildren are in grade 6. And if you go ask them, how are you doing? And they say, Grandma, I'm really, 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 really very tired. And then I ask, why? Because my teachers don't understand, okay, there are 6 different teachers for the day, and I am kept glued to my laptop 6 hours a day. And then after that, class is over, and then we have our homework, and I sleep. And she says, we sleep midnight. And then we have to be up again by 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning at the latest. So what's the issue here? The teachers forgot, okay, that this is a different kind of environment. All that they thought was they migrated from in-person classroom, in-person situation, and they migrated to virtual, and they were doing the same things all over. And I was telling the parents of my grandchildren, you better take this up with the school, tell them this is no longer psychologically healthy. Okay, so what is my overall assessment of the initiatives? There are more private schools who are ready to go fully online. Private schools are able to map their online education program within the ambit of their vision, mission, and goals, and within defined stages. They are more realistic. I would say up to stage 1, we'll do this, stage 2, etc., so that everyone is on the same page. And then private schools have started to venture defining online education, highlighting the principles, practices, designs, and design decisions that are that are now translated into their virtual campus or virtual classrooms. Now, my conclusion. Is the new normal in education now in place in the Philippines? From what reports and observations and infrastructures now currently set, my answers are the following. The new normal in the Philippines is still in its emergent stage. Some are a little bit ahead, but mostly, majority, is still lagging behind. Second, there are attempts to set new normal, but there are many wrinkles to iron out. First, a comfortable grasp mindset of online education. This is not just a matter of migration of in-person to virtual classroom. Second, connectivity is the big issue, and it is beyond the schools. Government must be the leader in stabilizing connectivity. Third, technology, skill set of all stakeholders, administration, faculty, and students, and support staff must be revamped and upgraded. Fourth, the pedagogical practices for online education must be evolved together. I mean, Malaysia and Vietnam and the Philippines and other countries must continue to share. We need to share because we're practically within the same landscape. Fifth, parents must be re-educated. I mean, Professor Gano was saying about the sacredness of the conversations between teachers and students. I mean, this is part of the re-education of the parents. And sixth, and this is where I think an advocacy must happen, especially in countries like ours, where we still have outback areas. Community learning hubs must grow, okay, as a network support. Why? We realize that not all parents would have the kind of education needed to be able to mentor their children at home. When children don't know what to do, and they ask the parents because they're the ones at home, parents don't know what to say, what to do. So how can the children be helped? So a learning center has to be village situated, where there's easy access, and that can be fully equipped with infrastructure. And who are the mentors that you can bring in there? In every village, you have retirees. who are still full of wisdom and can still share what they want. Take an accounting of these retirees who have retired as educators, okay, who have retired as maybe accountants. So you will be able to identify people in the neighborhood who can be tutors, who can be mentors to students in terms of numeracy, in terms of reading, in terms of language, in terms of
Yes.
history, etc. Okay, so that's what I mean by growing community learning. And my final point is, which I continue to emphasize even among friends, there is always this yearning of returning to the old normal. When will we be going back to our usual life? And I would say, no way, no more. The old life is gone. We are moving towards a new world order. So right now, is there already a new normal? None yet. We are moving towards that because you can only set up a new norm once it has been stabilized, it has been expected and accepted. We are trying to, we're setting it up, but hopefully, okay, hopefully, who knows, it may be next month, next year, but the new normal will come with the new world order. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Dr. Ross, for the impactful, and it's very hard for me to explain through words, but what you have experiences in your country, really there are similarities and also differences, but whatever it is, I can see that in your country, Philippines, you are focusing on the well-being for the students. Congratulations to you, Dr. Ross. And now we are moving to our third panelist, yeah, Dr. Kim, all the way from Vietnam. Yeah. So, Dr. Kim, maybe you can share with us your professional view pertaining our forum's topic today, which is the new normal in education. Please, Dr. Kim.
Thank you, Stanley. Good morning again. It's my pleasure today to share from my experience about the new normal. And the focus of my presentation is on for the new normal in my university. I'm going to talk about what my university and how my university reacts to the new teaching context. My university is in Da Nang City. Now, Stanley, can you show the second slide? Okay. Now, this is the image of my city, Da Nang City, and it is the symbol of Da Nang City. Okay. And my university is located in the center of the city. And we are one of the university member of University of Da Nang. My university is one of the 3 biggest universities in Vietnam that educate foreign language teachers and also those who will work in the fields of languages. Stanley, can you show the next picture? Okay, and this is my university. We had 8 faculties altogether, and my faculty is the biggest one, and we focus on English major program. Now, sorry, can you have the next one? Okay, and this is my colleague, all from all of my colleagues, around 68 lecturers. And now I would like to share with you my experience about the new normal. It is what, Stanley, can you show the first slide for all my presentation? Okay, thank you. For like other countries in the world, we are suffering from a very serious pandemic, the COVID-19. And in Vietnam, the pandemic happened very early this year, in February, when we had 16 cases of COVID victims. And at that time, we just finished our Lunar New Year festival. And quickly, all the universities and schools in Vietnam were closed down to avoid the widespread of COVID-19. It may be a bit surprise to you all, But in Vietnam, we had a very quick reaction to the COVID-19, and we had all the activity stop very early when we just had a very few cases of COVID victims. And at the time, we did not how long would the closure of school last, and we just had some of a very simple reaction. In my university, all school activities stopped, and we just waited for 2 weeks. But later on, the university realized that it could not just stop teaching and learning and do nothing. So we quickly moved to online teaching. And at that time, we did not have any plans for the online teaching because we did not have any prediction how long for the school would stop. So we just had tried to have some kind of online teaching. And in my opinion, it is not online teaching at all. It is just some of the replacement for the traditional teaching. And we just have some new normal in not very appropriate way at all. But then the university quickly had a lot of trainings for teachers and also for officers in the university to have a better IT skills and also better knowledge of online teaching. We all moved to online teaching with with online meetings on MS Team, and then we have online courses on LMS, I mean Learning Management System, to support our online meeting. However, it is just what we could do at that time, and we still realize that we had several issues. And like Dr. Rose had already presented, we still have some very similar difficulties. First of all, the difficulties in teaching strategies. For at the time, we just try to keep on doing something so that we can maintain our teaching and learning. And we use online meetings, and we also use MS courses. However, the teaching strategies that we chose for our online teaching is not very suitable at all. Some of the lecturers just thought that we had online meetings, and the online meetings can replace the face-to-face meeting. But in fact, it is not the case at all. We teach language skills, so it is quite difficult for us as the lecturer to organize the activities in our class when we have online meetings. And for the LMS, we have some activities on the LMS, but it's just something to supplement the online meeting as well. So it means that the teaching strategies are not very well prepared for the online teaching. The second difficulty that we face in our online teaching is the facility. In Vietnam at the time, we are all to be quarantined at home. We had social distance. We could not go to university to organize our online activities. So we just have we could just use what we had in our family. Some of the lecturers were lucky to have a good internet connectivity at home, and with the high quality laptop, but some did not. So it was quite difficult for us to organize the online meeting at that time, and it took a lot of time to arrange everything so that we can move on with our teaching and learning. Students also face a lot of difficulties regarding the facilities. Not all students had the laptop, and some of them have the good condition with the internet connectivity. At the time, my students were still at home, and some live in the remote area. They could not access the internet at all. So it was quite difficult, quite challenging for them to maintain their learning. The university tried to support teachers and also learners regarding the facilities by some ways. But anyway, while we were all suffer from the social distance and we were all have to be quarantined at home, it was quite difficult for the university to try to support the teaching and learning of all lecturers and teachers. As a result, the effectiveness of our online teaching were not as satisfactory as we expect. According to the recent research done by me, when I used the CIBB model to evaluate the effectiveness of the online teaching and in my university, it revealed that the effectiveness is just at the moderate level, which is satisfies certain aspects of the teaching and learning, and we still have a lot of issues that we need to solve in our online teaching. And my universities had a very suitable plan to deal with this problem quickly. The university quickly organized a lot of trainings for lecturers to deal with the issue arising from online teaching, and we also have online assessment. During the semester, we have the testing and assessment at the end, but due to the COVID-19, we cannot organize it face to face, and the university had to organize the testing and assessment using the online wave. And luckily, we have a system for the online testing, and we can deal with it effectively. And from my point of view, in order to make the online teaching more effectively, we have to deal with the difficulties regarding to facilities, but it is just only the first step that we have to do. The more important one that we need to consider while we deal with online teaching is the strategies that we use in online teaching. And from my point of view, from my experience, I highly recommend that we should use project-based learning and also from flipped classroom if we have to organize the online teaching. For flipped classrooms, we can have some kind of materials or some of the activity before the class organized on the LMS courses, and then during the online meetings, we can organize the activity that follows the activities that we have on the online courses. And with this strategy, we can have a better online teaching rather than we just use something and then we do not know what we are going is effective for our teaching and learning or not. And the second strategies that we can use is the project-based learning. For project-based learning, it is quite suitable for the subject related to more to theories, like some of the linguistic subjects or some of the cultural subjects. But it is not very suitable for language skills at all. So for the language skills, I prefer to use the flipped rather than project-based learnings. To sum up from, it is quite difficult to organize online teaching, especially when we do not have any experiences in this one and we lack of the teaching strategies. And I do hope that if we have to deal with the situation again, all the issues arising in the first wave of the COVID-19 in Vietnam can be solved to some extent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to Dr. Kim for the professional view just now. And before we proceed to the next session, I would like to compliment few of our viewers over here. For example, we have here Dohimbang Bongkihoy saying that terbaik syabas. Okay, and also we have here also Chigunanis, Tahnia PPD Kota Kinabalu and PPD Kota Kinabalu. Salam dari PPD Kuala Selangor. Yeah. So thank you very much for being with us in our impactful forum today, where we are discussing about the new normal in education. Okay, so thank you very much, Prof. Gana, Dr. Rose, and Dr. Kim for the sharing, for your professional view pertaining our topic today. And before we end our session today, basically some of the viewers would like to ask some questions. Yeah, and then the first question is all the way from Kota Blood, asking about how can the teachers engage with the new normal? Maybe any tips for the educators? Maybe Prof. Gana would like to answer these questions from one of our viewer, asking what is basically the tips Prof. Gana can give to them in order for them to be blend with the new normal in education. Please, Prof. Gana. Prof. Gana, maybe you can switch on your
All right.
Okay, better, Prof. Yes.
You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, you need to unmute your
All
yeah.
right, okay.
Okay, Prof. Gana.
All right. Okay, so I think the most important thing, all of us, not just the teacher who asked the question, but all of us have to do to prepare ourselves for the future, is to understand what's going on, to understand the kind of issues that we are confronted with. If we don't understand and we don't appreciate these things clearly enough, then we won't be able to deal with this. And once we understand, then we are able to find solutions. And I go back to the point that I made. The solution has to be local. The solution has to be contextualized rather than a one-size-fit-all solution. Those kind of workings will not solve the problems. So Kota Belud needs to find a solution for Kota Belud, because Kota Belud is unique in its own way. And I think this is the kind of thinking that we need to have, rather than expect somebody to hand us down a solution. Yeah, that's my comment.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Gana, for the response, for the questions. Maybe Madam Ross, do you have any thought for these questions?
Yeah, considering the macro response of Professor Gana, if I were to put it at the individual level of the teacher, I think number one is you have to reset your mindset. In other words, you have to come in empty and then learn again. Learn. Because you cannot just put patchwork efforts. It will not be successful. Number two, as you try to redo your mindset about online education, then learn the how. When in learning the how, you have to look at squarely at your skill set. Okay, and the third one is I think you must be ready to be creative. In other words, take the risk of being creative, because that's the only way to free you from your old mindset. Try something new. And here you have to go back to educational principles like collaborative learning, because in online education, learning together is very important. It's crucial. Learning alone does not work anymore in a
Very
situation
true.
like online. And the teacher must come in no longer as the teacher. You have to come in also as a facilitator, as a learner. Thank you.
So meaning to say, a teacher need to be multitasking, right, Dr. Ross? Thank you very much for the response. Okay, before I proceed with our third panelist pertaining the same questions, I would like to highlight one of the comments from our viewer, from Madam Saliha binti Sakani. She said, "Thanks for the information, and I got many new knowledge today." Yeah, bravo to the three panelists. Yeah, congratulations also to PP Tuaran and PPDKK for holding this live. Thank you very much, Madam Saliha. Okay, so Dr. Kim, maybe do you have any opinion pertaining the question arose by one of the teachers from Kota Blue?
Thank you, Stanley. I believe that we have to accept the new normal. Do not complain. We just have to accept what is happening now, and we need to update ourselves with knowledge so that we can deal with the situation better. And I love the idea that Dr. Ross just says that collaborative learning is very important, especially for online learning. When for online learning, we can see that there is a lack of interest among students and between students and teachers. So for if we can improve the level of collaborative learning, we can improve the effectiveness of our teaching and learning.
Stanley, may I share
Yes.
one crazy idea that I shared? I was invited to do a seminar on teaching for graduate students, and
Oh, that's good. Okay.
I said, okay, first day of, I said, I am constrained by the regulation of the school that I have to produce grades at the end of the session, and I said,
Okay.
I don't want to do the grading system. I said, okay, today, all of you are getting 100% from me. Now, it is your responsibility to protect your 100%, because 8 weeks from now, at the end of the session, I will ask you, do you still deserve 100%? And then if you say yes, tell me what you did to protect 100%. If you say,
Okay.
no, I'm worth 90%, then tell me what you did. Okay, fine. And I said, now you are going to do a journal of everything that you do in the classroom. Your participation, your attendance, your homework, the comments in your homework, etc. So I did
Yes.
not have a grading sheet with me. I did not have a notebook that was trying to punch the attendance. I just said, I came here to learn with you, and then I share what I know. We had very good sessions. And at the end of at first they were afraid. They said, are you going to change my grade? I said, on the basis of the evidence you present to me, I may agree or disagree with you. And from there, we can negotiate again. And only about 3% of that class overestimated themselves.
Wow.
Overestimated. But after a dialogue with me, they just kind of said, yeah, I think I overestimated myself. So the judgment didn't come from me. The facts were the ones that they had to deal with. It's crazy. I may not be resonating with many traditional minds, but it works.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rose. Okay, we also have here one of our viewers saying that from Nora Slam Mano saying that I agree, teachers must become learners. Yeah, exactly. We teachers need to be multitasking. Is a part of teaching. We also need to learn day by day. And Chia Swan New also saying that thank you to the all presenters for the powerful sharing. And then we have one question over here, and this question's especially dedicated to Prof. Gana, asking, this is actually from PPD Kota Kinabalu, asking a question like this, yeah? Dr. Gana, what do you think of the level of parents' ability as co-teachers at home in a Malaysian scenario? Maybe Prof. Gana, you can respond the questions from Kota Kinabalu.
Right. Thank you very much. Very interesting question. In fact, one of the developments of this situation that we are in is parents understand how difficult the job of a teacher is, because parents now have to be there beside their children to help them through.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So before they were very good at saying the teacher's not doing this or teacher's not doing that, or they were good at complaining about what teachers did and didn't do. Now they know what teaching is really all about and the challenge. So yes, good question. And I think this question, actually tells us that the responsibility of the school has now expanded, become even bigger, because previously what we felt was, okay, as soon as the parent dropped their child off in the school, then the parent has no role, essentially, apart from checking whether homework is done or whatever at home. But now we know that the school needs to educate the parents as well. The school needs to provide guidance to the parents in terms of how can they become co-teachers, collaborators in the process of their children's learning. And this is not natural. Not all parents, are able to do this naturally. So we need to train them. We need to provide some guidance. We need to provide some guidelines for parents in terms of how they can support their learners. And of course, we understand that not all parents have that level of education that they can support their children's learning at different levels of education. However, there are things that parents can do that don't require them to be highly educated or know the content of the the subject that the student is learning. So this is where I think schools need to play a bigger role, right? And we can come up with a kind of a module or a framework for the training of parents. Yeah, that's my response.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Gana. We also have, oh my God, there are a lot of questions over here. And then there is one question also from Kota Kinabalu asking Dr. Kim, yeah? Dr. Kim, do you have any problem with assessment quality done on online? Maybe you can share maybe Dr. Kim, you can share your thought about this. Do you have any problem?
Yes, thank you, Stanley. So you mean that the testing and assessment online?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. In my university, we use two kinds of assessment. We have a formative assessment and summative assessment. For the formative assessments, we have some kind of like portfolio or project-based learning for the assessment. And for the summative assessment, we have the text, the online text. We have the system to organize this online text, and students are given the account to access the online text at the same time, and they do the text online. Like something like we have the top 4 online of online testing. Yeah.
Okay, so also Dr. Kim, PPD from Kota Kinabalu would like to ask, do you have any idea of assessment done online, how to make it more reliable and impactful to the human capital?
Uh, Actually, it is quite difficult to maintain the reliability and validity of the test when we are doing it online.
Mm-hmm.
For the formative assessment, we just have some kind like a portfolio.
Okay.
For example, we have the writing skills. Writing
Mm-hmm.
skills. We are teaching language skills. Writing skills. So student will write some essays and then
Okay.
submit the essays online. It is just quite very simple for the online testing. But
Mm-hmm.
for the for the text, we
Okay.
usually use the multiple
Okay.
choice for the text, and we have the text for listening skills, for um, reading skills, and for
Okay.
some other subjects. But we cannot organize the text for speaking and for writing skills. It is quite difficult. For writing, we can, but it is quite difficult to maintain the text,
Mm-hmm.
especially when the text take a very long time, usually over from 1 hour to over 1 hours. So
Okay.
with the connectivity, we have difficulties in the connectivity for
Mm-hmm.
internet connectivity. So it is quite difficult for us to organize this one. But for the listening and reading skills,
Okay.
we can have it effectively. But we just use the multiple choice question.
Mm, that's good. Thank you very much, Dr. Kim. Okay, our next questions actually from a guidance and counseling teacher here in Tuaran. Maybe these questions, I would like to give these questions to Dr. Ross, yeah? Because just now, Dr. Ross did share her opinion pertaining the suicidal and also how counseling plays a very big role in terms of reaching out the students who have problems in terms of their emotions and all that. So, Dr. Ross, what is your opinion pertaining the guidance and counseling teachers? I believe you do have your counseling teachers also, right, in your country. So, what do you think? What suppose the guidance and counseling teachers or the counselor need to do in order for them to reach out the human capital or the students in school?
I think there should be some kind of a structure or a mechanism that is set up by the school so
Mm-hmm.
that at any time the students want to unload emotionally, psychologically, their difficulties, there is someone there or there is a mechanism that is in place. Because
Mm-hmm.
many times students are not so comfortable, not all students are so comfortable to be going all the time to their teachers. So the
Exactly.
teachers will eventually make judgments on them regarding their performance. So they need somebody else who they feel will be more neutral. Okay,
Yeah.
and so if there is a mechanism that is placed there, then the mechanism becomes more friendly to them, and
Mhm.
this can be a combination of trying to put the people there by schedule. Some are schoolmates who are who are well respected as school leaders, student leaders. Some would be teachers. Some would be the parent counselors, or maybe some parents or elderly people who can be there spread out, and so they have a choice whether, oh, I'll go to the 3 o'clock in the afternoon slot because I feel comfortable, more comfortable with this person. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's one way rather than be reactive, because many times the school will put up something because something tragic has already happened. So this is a feature that has to be in place.
Yeah, thank you very
Yeah,
much, Dr. Rose. Yeah, please,
Stanley, can I
Prof.
just add a little bit? Yeah, a
Yes,
little
please.
bit to
Yes,
this
yes.
question. I think it's a very important question
Mm-hmm.
because what's happening now, the biggest issue that learners are confronted with, and this cuts across from school right up to university, is
Okay.
isolation. Is isolation. So learning in isolation is something completely new to learners, and they tend to feel greater sense of pressure. When they're alone, they can't collaborate. They can't work together with friends. They're not very familiar with the way in which online collaborations can work, right?
Exactly.
So this is critical, and this is why. And I think to add to Dr. Roz's comment, I'd like to suggest that all teachers be inducted to recognize challenges that students are facing. It is not just the role of the counselor, because sometimes if the issue is not detected, it never gets to the counselor, right?
True. Yes.
So all teachers need to be inducted into, recognizing some of the mental health issues that students are likely to be facing or confronted with, so that they can then take actions and send them to experts, counselors, or whoever else. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Prof. Ghana. Okay, they also we also have one viewer over here. This is Evelyn Binti Samanjus here, saying thank you very much for the sharing, and also Tadika Anglikan Penampang saying that thank you, Dr. Ghana, for your sharing on the importance of the parents' participations in regard to the children learning at home. I think I still can highlight one more questions over here, all the way from Kedah, from Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Baling Kedah. Okay, the question is like this. It was mentioned just now that one of the way of online assessment is through PBL. I would like to get few example of how to conduct PBL online. Maybe Prof. Ghana, do you have some thought with this?
Yes. Actually, PBL is an excellent way of assessing, because you can assess, learning through the process as well as the product, right? And this is the question that was asked earlier. How do we propose assessments to be done online? So PBL is an excellent way where you can actually break down milestones of a project and work with students on achieving different milestones and assessing each milestone as they progress, towards the product that they are going to do. So how can PBL be done online? Again, we can do it. In fact, even as I speak on this forum now, the University of Nottingham, our students are now undergoing a presentation where they are reporting on researches that they are doing at different stage. So one way of supporting PBL online is to run regular workshops related to the milestones that I've indicated. So I can teach them certain skills required for that milestone, and then I can get them to report back and say, okay, so this is what I have done for this milestone. And again, that ensures that students don't fall behind on that PBL project. They are all going along a specific, timeline and a specific pathway. Though we don't want to inhibit their creativity, one of the key things about PBL is, allowing space for their creativity. We don't want to inhibit their creativity, but we can guide them through the process so that everybody ends up successful, right? So that is my thoughts, and I'm happy to share other details.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Ghana. How about you, Dr. Tim? Do you have any idea on the questions just now?
Me?
Yeah. Do you have any response?
I have used BBL in my teaching, and also I use it at the form of assessment also. And for when I have to conduct online teaching, I usually create forums for my students to share their idea. And for one group, I will create one forum, and what they have to discuss, what they have to do within their project must be shared in the forum. And by having a look at the forum every day, I can know the milestones of my student when they do the project. And based on what they discuss on, what they share on the forum, I can have a certain understanding of what contribution each individual make to the project, so that later on when we assess the whole project, we can have the individual contribution to the projects. This is
Thank you,
the
Dr. Kim. We also have one opinion from one of our viewer here, which is from Lai Mui Kyun, saying that it's not just the mental issues faced by the students, the family who have to get used to the online learning experience throughout. Their mental adaptations needs to be considered too. I totally agree with you, Madam Lai. Okay, so we also have some of the viewers here saying that from Nora Slam Mano saying that Tanya, Madam Wanihim and Madam Tanya, job done well, excellent. Yeah? And also from Galik Bangkwai saying that thank you very much for sharing with us. Yeah. So Prof Ghana, Dr. Kim, I hope Dr. Ross can join us back. I'm not sure. Maybe there is a connection problem and all that. But thank you very much for your impressive professional view pertaining our topic today, which is the new normal in education. I can see that when we talk about new normal in education, yeah, there are similarities and also differences between from the education industry from Malaysia, Philippines, and also Vietnam. But whatever it is, the most important thing is that how the human capitals or the students in school or in university for Dr. Kim benefited from the new normal we are facing in education. Yeah, maybe for the last round, maybe Prof. Ghana, maybe do you have your final words to the viewers?
Yeah, thank you very much, Stanley. One thing I like to remind everyone working in education. This includes teachers, principals, people in education ministries and departments. Is that we need to recognize that there has been a deficit. We must recognize that 2020 has been a year of deficit. That students have lost ground, they have lost time, they have lost contact with learning. Many students, right? This is something that we need to recognize, and we cannot expect, even if we go back to normal in 2021, we cannot expect that the students will be able to come back to school and start like as though nothing has happened.
It's true.
So we need to put in place preparation for students. So when they come back to school, what are the induction processes that we need to take into account? Number one. Number two, how are we going to assess, where their starting points are? As I said, they've lost ground. So we need to do a kind of a diagnostic test to see how much have they lost. And then we need to have a strategy to say, okay, how are we going to catch up? Perhaps the first 3 months next year will be focused only on catching up before they move into next year's curriculum. So there needs to be a strategy around how we are going to approach 2021 and education for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. Ghana. Yeah. Okay. How about you, Dr. Kim? Any last word for us, especially your fans here in Malaysia?
Thank you for giving me the chance to be here with the forum today. And my final word is that education is always some kind of lifelong learning. And in this very new normal, we as teachers have to accept that we are living in the new situation. And what we are having to do is just keep ourselves learning what we need so that we can have the better teaching and keep ourselves motivated in such very difficult situation now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kim. Okay, actually, Prof. Ghana, you have a lot of friends over here. For example, Chigurosas want to ask you, how can we encourage the involvement of parents from rural areas who do not have any telecommunication equipment, such as telephones and all that? But I am so sorry because we are running out of time, yeah. But maybe Chiguros, yeah, maybe you can try to PM Prof. Ghana because he do have a lot of social media, for example, Facebook and all that. Please reach him via one of the social media that he have. Also from Lily Natasha saying that, oh, this is actually a compliment to me, basically. Great job, Mr. Moderator. You handle the frame of discussions well. Yeah, thank you very much, Lily. Okay, so because of we are basically running out of time, we want we would like to spend more time with you, Prof. Ghana and Dr. Kim, but unfortunately, we have limited times over here. Yeah, but whatever it is, thank you very much again. Yeah, to Professor Dr. Ganakumaran Subramaniam. Let us give a very big applause to Prof. Ghana, Head of School, UNM Education, Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Nottingham, Malaysia Campus. Thank you very much, Prof. Ghana. And of course, all the way from Vietnam, Dr. Vu T. Kim An, the Vice Dean, Faculty of English, University of Foreign Language Studies, Da Nang, Vietnam. Thank you very much. And of course, to meet Dr. Roth, but unfortunately, I believe she do have these connection problems in Philippines. So thank you very much again to all our panelists. Yeah, let us give a very big hand of applause to our three panelists. Yeah, thank you very much. And now I would like to pass back this platform to the beloved Madam Debbie, the MC for TTE 2.0 2020.
Thank you, Stanley. That was truly a remarkable and meaningful sharing, a topic which means deeply to all of us. We thank you to all panelists, experts in their fields, for being here with us today, and to our wonderful moderator, Mr. Stanley Missun, for hosting it for us. Thank you once again.
Maybe we can take a group photo, Debbie?
Yes. Now, let
Yeah.
us together capture some memories for Forum 1 today, right?
Bye.
Yes. Get ready with all the beautiful smiles, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you. Well
much.
done.
And see you again.
Thank
Bye.
you, Stanley. Good job. Thank you, Professor Ghana. Thank you, Dr. Kim and Dr. Debbie.
Bye, everyone. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. All right, viewers, respected ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned with us for the next sharing of Forum 2, which will start exactly at 12 p.m. today by following the link on both Facebook and YouTube pages of PPD Tuaran and PPD Kota Kinabalu. Keep on being with us here in TTE 2.0, together transforming education for the year 2020, International Colloquium on Education and Social Sciences. Thank you.
So, Mama.